Next up is the Detroit Lions, picking at 3. They finished with a 3-12-1 record. Their tie was in week 1 against the Cardinals, 27-all. Then their 3 wins came in week 2 and 3 against the Chargers and the Eagles, 13-10 and 27-24 respectively. And the final one was week 8 against the Giants, 31-26. They were looking okay, but then of course they lost Matt Stafford in week 9.
Yeah.
They were down to David Blau by week 13, so Jeff Driscoll was injured by that point. They lost Kerryon Johnson after week 6. He didn't return until about week 15. Their first round pick this year, TJ Hawkinson, finished this season with 32 catches for 367 yards and 2 touchdowns, but 131 of those came on yards in his first game against Arizona. In week 1, he suffered a concussion in week 4 against the Chiefs and went on IR with an ankle injury during the second Bears game in week 13. So they were really decimated with injuries. They had a lot of bad luck as well in some of their games that they were set to win. I'm thinking the Packers game with the interference calls they got given against them. It just seemed to all fall apart for them. The second half of that year played out by the fact that after week 8 they didn't win another game. Ended up as the 19th rank on offensive efficiency, 29th on defensive efficiency, first on special teams efficiency somehow. I don't make these stats up. Overall ranking was 25th. So again, a good first half of the year, plagued by the second half.
Yeah, I mean, it's no real shock that you lose your franchise quarterback. I mean, as a Steelers fan,
we'll talk about them later.
To this. It's no coincidence that they lose Stafford and their season somewhat tanks. I mean, if you look in the first 7 games of the season, they drew against the Cards. It is what it is. First game of the season. They beat the Chargers. That's good. Then they beat the Eagles. I mean, that was a few eyebrows raised by everyone on that.
Well, yeah, because they're 2-0-1.
They lost to the Chiefs and the Packers, and then the Vikings. I mean, 3 very good teams. Yeah. So up to that point, you're thinking, all right. I mean, we all were.
They were top of the NFC North.
Lions are looking all right. And they lose Stafford and it all falls apart. It's as simple as that. That's the reason they failed. That's it. It doesn't surprise me that they're keeping hold of head coaches, and I mean the whole organisation is pretty much staying as it is. We've not heard anything coming out of the lines to say there's going to be changes.
Well, you say that. No, they're keeping Matt Patricia, but they're sacking everyone else. Look at this.
Really?
Special teams coordinator John Bonamego, who got the first efficiency ranking on it. Linebacker coach Al Golden, defensive back coach Brian Stewart, tight end coach Chris White, and strength coaches Harold Nash and Rodney Hill are all being let go. Okay. So a lot of back end moves, but
interesting.
The coordinators and the head coach, as you were saying, have not been moved on.
That isn't something I knew about. So, I mean, if normally when you see coaches go in that aren't coordinators, so strength and conditioning and running back coaches and all that kind of thing, that normally says it's last chance saloon, so it may well be Patricia's last chance next year. Because exactly the same thing happened with Vance Joseph in Denver.
You forgot the name of your old coach.
Well, it's easy to forget.
The problem from Patricia is that he is a defensive coordinator and they were 29th ranked on defense.
Yeah, but look...
They didn't lose their captain on defense.
Okay, but look how much time the defense was spending on the field. I mean, it was just constantly 3 and out. When the Broncos played them at the end of the season, the Broncos were walking off the field. They might as well have just turned around and gone straight back because it was 3 and out constantly.
When you're right, Dave. I'm not going to argue with that one. Let's have a look at the last time the Lions were picking 3rd overall. That was in 2002 when they took quarterback Joey Harrington. He went 18-37 as a starter in his 4 seasons in Detroit.
Wow.
Remember the name, Joey Harrington.
But I mean, they are a team that had no direction and were rudderless, because you were watching them just thinking you are 2 or 3 good players away from being a decent side. Yeah, they were never terrible. They never got absolutely mauled. I mean, there was a few games where they were offensively inept and they just got outscored because they couldn't score, if that makes sense. They were giving nothing on offense, and it wasn't as though teams were running on them like we often saw with the Ravens. The Ravens just score on teams constantly. Yeah. And even though the other teams were playing well, you just got beat by a better team. We didn't see that. You just saw them being defensively... I mean, there was one game where they just got burnt over the top constantly towards the end of the season. I can't remember which one that was. It might have even been the Bucks game. It was the Bucks game where the Bucks just went riot. Other than
that's what they do, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, other than that, they were relatively okay. They were just getting beaten by teams that had more talent.